This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
Nobody has ever gotten on the phone with me or called me with regard to, spending a bunch of money if they were not interested.
Hi, my name is Igor Kheifets, and this is the List Building Lifestyle, the only podcast which delivers cutting-edge conversion strategies from the online trenches straight to your earbuds. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. I also invite you to grab a free copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. And now, once again, it's time to claim your list building lifestyle.
To an episode I've personally been waiting for months. I've got right here Mr. Devon Brown, the success renegade, finally giving me about 40 minutes of his time to do a freaking episode on List Building Lifestyle. Devon, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you?
Doing well, and trust me, I'm so freaking excited to have you on the show because you've always been one of the few people I've admired in this industry. And I've had lots of different mentors, of course. You were never one of them, as in officially, right? I never paid you money for mentoring, but I've always looked up to you. I've always modeled your stuff. I funnel hacked the crap out of you. And, I've always just admired your work and how organic you are at what you do. And the reason I invited you on the show is because for the last decade, you've been in this industry. You've done everything from affiliate marketing to product launches to business opportunity marketing to even MLM. You started out as a salesperson for Med Basic, selling high-ticket items on the phone.
Correct.
You've just done so much in this industry. You know it inside and out. And obviously, no wonder that as a result, you are basically free to choose a company you'd like to step in and you dominate it. You've done it with Traffic Authority and different other companies beforehand. So my question to you, and the biggest question, that I believe that my listeners would love to hear an answer to is, how do you do it? How do you collect all these high ticket sales without seeming like you work too hard to make it happen?
That's a good question and a fair question. And before I answer it, let me just start off by saying to you, Igor, man, I've been watching you over the past couple of years, and I just gotta give you mad props. You have really stepped your game up, and you may have looked at me and admired me in the past, but brother, I look at you and I admire you right now because the amount of value that you are bringing to our industry is just unparalleled. So just real quickly before we jump into things, I want to thank you for all that you do, and I'm happy to be one of your biggest clients. So just wanted to throw that out there before we get started.
It's a pleasure serving you, my friend.
Yeah. So to your question, right? How is it that I am able to jump into pretty much any business opportunity, right? Any, especially these big ticket business opportunities and make these big dollar sales where I can make $3,000 in commissions from a single sale or whatever the case may be. How am I able to do that with relative consistency and relative ease? Well, there are two answers to that question. The first answer is the thing that you are probably the number one person in our industry at, and that is driving traffic and list building, right? I mean, the name of this podcast is the List Building Lifestyle. So for years, the first thing I've done is get the list, right? Work on building the list. I've gotten lots and lots of traffic to opt into my list from people like you and from you particularly so that I can get the people on my list, because if they're not on my list, I cannot sell them. That's number one, right? But assuming that you have that in place, there is one thing that I am willing to do that most people are not willing to do. And most people are scared of this thing. And because many people are scared of this thing, they're leaving a lot of money on the table. And what it is that I'm willing to do that makes me a lot of money in this industry is that I am not scared to hop on a quick phone call with somebody and talk to them before they buy some, $3,000, $5,000, or $10,000 product.
Ooh, I smell rejection. I smell the fear of rejection.
And that is what people, I hear people all the time, Devon, I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm not a salesperson. So great. You don't have to want to talk to anybody, but just know that number one, if you don't want to talk to anybody, that you're leaving money on the table. So now that you know that, you can make the decision not to talk to anybody, but just know that you're leaving money on the table, number one. Number two, there are false assumptions, I think, that many people make with regard to talking to others. And so what I'd like to do, if it's okay with you, Igor, is I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about what a quote unquote sales call actually is. And I don't even really want to call it that, 'cause I don't even know if that's the right thing that I do. But let's spend a little bit of time kind of, dispelling some myths with regard to getting on the phone talk. Is that fair?
That's my favorite thing on the show. It's like dispelling the most common ideas that people have about things and just showing them, hey, it's not what you've been told. It's not what you've been conditioned to believe. And all of a sudden, when you break just one, poor, sort of like quote unquote poor mindset paradigm, where people like believe that, for example, money is a zero sum game. That if Devon makes $1,000, then Igor makes $1,000 less today. When you break things like that, it's sort of like it frees your mind to finally see the money hidden in plain sight. So I am looking forward to hearing what you got to say about that.
Excellent. All right. Well, great. Well, let's jump into it. So the first thing we have to understand, and the first thing you need to understand, is that the people who you want to buy from you are just like you. Now, I want you to think about something. Before you shell out $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 or $10,000 to buy something, especially if it's some business opportunity thing, before you shell out that money, question, do you or do you not, or would you not rather at least talk to somebody on the phone for a few minutes just so that you can hear a human being talk, so that you can have a feeling that this is actually real? Does that make you more comfortable or less comfortable if somebody's willing to talk to you?
Well, obviously, I want to talk. I mean, just as we record this, there's the new iPhone coming out. And even though I've gotten like every single iPhone since the 3GS, as well as the iPad, and I got 3 MacBooks, 1 iMac, I got everything Apple. But nevertheless, since I live in Israel and I want to order the iPhone 7, and I don't know if it's going to come unlocked, or I got a bunch of different questions about that. I just went on Apple's website and I had to speak to them on the phone, obviously, even though I'm a raving fan.
So there is a human X factor that makes this game work. So if you feel more comfortable talking to somebody before making a major purchase or a major buying decision, doesn't it just make sense that somebody who on your list who you want to buy something might feel a little bit more comfortable just talking to you for a couple of minutes before they make that buying decision, understanding that all of us have a lot in common and that we're all a lot alike? So that's number one. Number two, let's take that to the next step. Let's take that a step further. When you're looking to talk to somebody, Igor, and I'll ask you this. When you're looking to talk to somebody and get a few questions answered, can you tell me what you're really, really looking for? I hope I'm asking the question right.
Yeah, well, if I'm understanding the question right, I'm looking for someone to reassure me that I'm making a wise, intelligent decision.
Right. That's it. You're just looking for a little bit of reassurance. Are you looking to be hard sold?
Nah.
No, but you're just looking for a little bit of reassurance. So I think that part of the common myths about getting on the phone and talking to people is that you have to be some kind of master salesperson. You don't. What you need to be is just a human being that understands that the human being on the other end of the phone is just looking for a little bit of reassurance. That is it. 80 to 90% of the call is just reassuring somebody. That's it. You don't even have to have the answers to most of their questions. As long as you can be friendly and reassure them, then you're 80% of the way there already.
Devon, I found this after doing a lot of sales on the phone when I was doing my high-ticket coaching program, that oftentimes people come sort of pre-sold on their own. And even when I try to talk them out of making a buying decision because they didn't feel like it was a good fit for them, the more I talked them out of it, the more they wanted it. So it was almost like if you want to sell someone something, you almost have to start asking them for a reason why they shouldn't buy it. All of a sudden, they will do the opposite. They will push back and they will tell you that, hey, I want to buy this. Don't tell me what I can and cannot do. Sell me this right now. Let me buy this right now.
And to that point, nobody has ever gotten on the phone with me or called me with regard to, spending a bunch of money if they were not interested. So let's understand that I'm not talking about cold calling people here. That's it. I don't do that. That's silly, right? I don't cold call leads. I'm not, dialing for dollars, as they say. Any and everyone that I talk to has reached out and either A, asked me to call, or B, called me. That's it. So I'm not some kind of, you don't have to be some kind of a hardcore sharp, sales guy or anything like that. All you have to do is, as you're building your list, which Igor is helping you with, be willing to say to people, hey, here's this opportunity that I have. And if you've got a couple of questions, don't be afraid to give me a shout. And then when you're on the phone with them, to Igor's point, to the point that you were making, Igor, like you said, they come pre-sold already. So when you ask them questions, they will talk themselves into it.
And isn't that the big secret, Devon? Like most people, like you said, they believe that they gotta be the ones doing all the talking, right? As if to sweet talk the prospect into making a buying decision. But I find that people who are full of shit usually talk a lot, and people who are
Correct.
not, they don't. They often don't say more than they have to say. And so when it comes to to my experience on the phone, when I was talking just like you, I had an inbound strategy where they would ask me for the phone conversation, and sometimes they would even pay a deposit, right, to talk to me on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I just sat there and asked questions, not even about how my product will help them, because that's sort of like a sleazy question, right? So how do you think buying this will improve your life? Like that's a loaded question, and people understand that. But I was just asking them about what brought them to this conversation.
Exactly right.
Right. And often that was enough to get them to open up to me and give me all these details that I never even asked for, that basically gave me all the ammo I needed to convince them to buy my product if I chose to do so.
Yep. So let's expound on that a little bit. The very first thing you said, the main thing is that you ask a lot of questions. All right. So we'll do a little bit of role playing here. I think that'll be a little bit helpful.
Sure.
So I've got my list, right? Let's say that, Igor, you've been helping me build my email list, and I've got my email list of people who are interested in business opportunities and making money online and that kind of stuff, right? And I'm emailing them on a daily basis. I'm emailing them regularly, and I shoot out an email, and I'm just going to make this up, and it says something to the effect of, hey, go check. Obviously, it's going to be worded way better than this, but hey, go check out this program. And if you have any questions, yada, 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 give me a call back. Don't hesitate to call. I'm here for you. I got your back. Something like that. So let's say that somebody calls me inbound, or if you say to them, hey, go check out this program, and then email me back with your phone number if you'd like for me to call you. Something like that. So now I'm on the phone with somebody who's interested. The very first thing that I might ask them, if I'm kind of role playing here, is I might say something to the effect of, so, Mr. or Mrs. Person, just before we get started, I'm curious, how did you get started in this industry? Like, what's going on with you and your efforts to make money online? Kind of tell me a little bit about you and where you're coming from.
Well, you want to do the role playing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, my name is Igor Person, and I got online 3 years ago. Originally I was just laid off out of my job, and I needed some way to make some money, and so I went on the internet. But to this day, I can't really make it work. I've never made more than $400 in a single month, and I had to go back to a day job. I had to find out a job, but I realized this is what I want to do. I don't want to make someone else rich anymore. I want to build my own thing.
Well, before we get into why you and I are specifically on the phone, Mr. Igor Person, let me just take a second to congratulate you for making the $400, because believe it or not, the majority of people never even make that much. I know you might see all of the big name people out there and all these big commissions and stuff, but I need you to kind of pat yourself on the back a little bit, because the fact that you were even able to make your first dollar actually puts you in the top 20%. Don't know if you realize that or not. So,
well, no, I actually thought, like, I see all these gurus, they post on Instagram and Facebook, like they show all these earnings, and my sponsor, he's like making tens of thousands of dollars every single month, and I don't feel like I'm making any progress.
That's okay. So I want you to do yourself a favor throughout the rest of our conversation. And as you're growing your business, even after we get off this call, I just want you to do yourself a favor and not compare yourself to people who have been doing this for over a decade, right? It's like you going out and running against Usain Bolt and thinking that, you're running slow, or that what he does is the average of what most people do, right? It's not. That's not a fair comparison. But with that, what do you feel has been your biggest challenge? And out of curiosity, what made you want to talk to me today?
Well, my biggest challenge was, of course, getting those high ticket signups in my business.
Mm-hmm.
I invested a lot of money, into this program, and I still haven't made most of it back. I lost more money than I've invested, and that's been my challenge. I just can't seem to make sales. I reached out to you because of your email. I've been on your list for a while. I first heard about you from Igor, another Igor, that not me Igor, but another another Igor that I'm following, and your email just kind of resonated with me. I just felt that I should reach out.
I'm glad you did. I'll go ahead and tell you that The answers that I'm going to give you and what we're going to talk about is actually just a lot simpler than you might imagine. And the great thing about it is by the way, just quick side note, I want to commend you on your decision to jump into a program and not be scared to invest money in it, right? Because you being willing to jump into that program and put that money out and put yourself out there means that you're serious. So a couple of other questions. Have you been building your email list?
Well, I've been trying, but I'm generating like 50 leads a month or something. I buy an occasional solo here and there. I post some on Facebook, and I'm doing my best. And I'm getting about 50 leads a month.
Okay. Are you in a bunch of different business opportunities right now? Like, how many are you in?
3 actually.
Okay. All right. So you're kind of working on building your list. You're currently, if you have to spend a little bit of money this month on your internet business, what would you spend it on?
Well, since I've been following Igor, he says you should just do paid traffic because it's fast and converts, and that's the way to build a business. And I feel that's if I were to spend money, that's what I would probably spend money on.
Okay. How big is your list currently?
It's 350 leads, emails.
Okay. All right. So if it's okay with you, real quick, do I have permission to be 100% blunt and honest with you? Like, I don't want to hold anything back, but I don't want to be offensive. So just let me know if I can be like 100% real talk with you.
Yes, please do. I'd appreciate it.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you a secret real quick. Your upline who's making all of those big giant sales and making all of those umpty $500 in commissions, do you know the difference between him and you?
Deeper pockets?
No. It's that he's got a list. He's got an email list of 100,000 and you have an email list of 300.
Probably because he's got so much money that he was able to afford.
No, because he's been doing it longer. Because when he has $1, he spends it on building his list. Well, let me ask you this: when he started building his email list, how big was his email list?
Well, I'm assuming it was 0.
Right, because we all started 0. So back when I was a Taekwondo instructor making $12 an hour teaching Taekwondo, did I have big money in deeper pockets than you?
Well, were you teaching Taekwondo in Hollywood?
I was teaching Taekwondo in Atlanta, but I was still only making $12 an hour. So,
yeah, well, I get your point.
Right. So here's the point. Number 1, the bigger your list, the more people you have that might potentially buy your stuff. So the first thing you need to focus on is building that big list. So keep buying traffic from Igor, keep building your list. That is the primary focus. That's number 1. Get a big list. I can jump into any program I want because I've been building my list for years. I jump in on a Monday, I email my list. I'm in profit by Thursday. Okay. But it took me a little while to get to that point. The second thing is I have patience. I know it's exciting. We want it tomorrow. We do. And that's fair. And I understand that. But you're going to have a little bit of patience in this game, right? And understand that it's a process, not an event. Is that a fair request for me to be able to make of you, for you to be patient and understand that it's a process and not an event?
Yes, absolutely.
And number 3, don't be scared when you're emailing your list. Right? If somebody emails you as might be interested in a program, don't be scared to hop on the phone with them for 5 minutes. If you ever have anybody, or have you ever emailed somebody about one of your opportunities and had them email you back and ask you if this is real, or maybe hunt you down on Facebook and say, hey, is this real? Are people actually making money with this? Have you ever had that experience?
Yeah. And the person was so aggressive that I didn't know what to tell them. I just ignored, I just didn't ignore them, but I didn't know what to tell them. So I didn't say anything.
So thank you for mentioning the fact that people are aggressive. I need you to understand that when somebody is aggressive, that's actually fear. They're not mad. They're not mad, they're scared. So when that person emailed you back in an aggressive nature about whatever you sent them, it's because they're interested in it, but they're scared of being taken, and it's a defense mechanism. So here's how you respond to that. You respond with love, and you basically say, hey, so-and-so, thanks for taking the time to email me. I understand that you're interested in program X, and I understand that you might have some questions. You want to talk on the phone for a couple minutes?
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. What's your phone number? What's a good time for me to call you?
Well, okay, so let's stop the role playing here because I got a huge question for you.
Okay.
Up until this point, you're not selling anything.
Correct.
Why?
Because what this is about, and this is the thing, this isn't about, so let me tell you why my program has, and people make this much money, blah, 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 blah. What this is really about, this is really about human to human connection. This is about somebody knowing that you actually give a damn about them. This is about you actually being genuinely concerned for another human being. So when I hop on the phone with you, the first thing I need to do is the thing I need to do, is I need to come from a place of genuinely wanting to serve. I make the sale. Hear me on this. This is important. I make a lot of sales because I'm not scared of losing the sale.
Oh, this is deep.
Okay?
This is Jedi level sales training right here.
I make a lot of sales. There's a book that I want all of you to read. I'll tell you a quick story. There's a book that I want all of you to read. The book is called The Go-Giver. The Go-Giver. It's by a guy named Bob Burg, B-U-R-G. Now, I read this book back in 2008-ish. I think it was 2008. And the day after I read this book, I went into the office and I was on a quote unquote sales call, right? And the book basically says you want to come from a place of giving without the expectation of anything in return. Just give for the sake of giving. Just help as much as you can. That's the essence of the book. And it's a really short book. Please, please, please go get it. So I read this book called The Go-Giver. And the next day, and I'd already been selling for years and years and years. But I read this book and the next day I go into the office and I'm on the phone with a client or with a prospect, And the thing that I had to sell was a $2,500 coaching package. But when I got on the phone, since the book was so fresh in my mind, all I did was ask him about himself and his business and what he wanted. And I gave him so much value that I was like, oh, here's what you should do. Oh my God, tell me more about that. Okay, well, great. I saw this guy and he did X, Y, and Z. And here's what you should do. And I think this might work in helping your business. And I was just giving him so much value that at the end of the call, I almost hung up the phone before I forgot to ask for the sale. So I'm just about to hang up the phone. I'm not going to ask for the sale just because it slipped my mind, in all honesty. And he says to me, whoa, Devon, before we get off the phone, aren't you going to sell me something? And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. My bad. Yeah, I got a coaching program. If you want it, it's $2,500. He's like, hold on, let me go get my credit card. That was it.
It's like the easiest thing ever.
Yes. Why? Why did he buy? Because I was less concerned with selling him and more concerned with helping him.
Okay, Devon, this is a big one, but let me stop you and let me be the devil's advocate, whatever the term is, and ask you this. So most of the people listening to the show, while they've been around the industry for a little while, I would assume that the average listener has been in line for at least a year trying to make money. They don't have what you've got, my friend. They don't have such a huge level of confidence and so much experience to feel confident go helping people.
Mm-hmm. So I think the challenge there, and tell me if I'm wrong, and if not, please re-ask the question. You don't have to be a guru to help somebody. You don't have to have years of experience to help somebody. So let me give you an example. If you're on the phone with somebody and they say something like, yeah, but you just started, so why should I listen to you? Well, I'll tell you what. I may not have all the answers, but I'll tell you what, you and I will figure this stuff out together and we'll work hand by hand, and you can rest assured that a win for you is a win for me. So anything I learn, I'm going to pass on to you, and anything you learn, I want you to pass on to me because I want this to be a good relationship. You don't have to be a guru to say that. I just said I'm not successful, but I'm willing to help. Did that help? Does that make sense?
What you just said, you actually didn't say that. You showed it. You showed honesty.
Right.
And honesty it just disarms. There's no way someone will be angry at you or keep questioning you if you just say, you know what? You're absolutely right. I am a fucking newbie. I probably know just a little bit more than you do, or maybe even less than you do about this industry. But you know what? That is exactly why I will work my ass off to learn it, to devour every book that I read, every course that I go through, and pass the stuff that works over to you after I test it.
Mm-hmm.
Devon, and it's so funny, like when you say this, like, why should I listen to you since you're a newbie and you don't have any, income statements and income proof screenshots? It's funny. We're all so afraid of this objection, right? That's why most people don't get on the phone. That's why most people don't write emails, because they don't, quote unquote, have proof. But the truth is, I've only had one person tell that to me in my entire presence online in the last, 8 or 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
Just one freaking person and I remember that person, of course. It was my very first sales call for my coaching program. It's a lady who purchased my offer on the Warrior Forum. It's after I've had the proof, actually. I already had some income proof going on. And she was a Ukrainian lady. I'm Ukrainian. And out of all the people in the world, she was the one to do that. So she was a Ukrainian lady living in South Africa. She got on the phone with me and I quoted her a price, which to me right now seems so ridiculous. It was $800 for coaching, okay, for a year's worth of coaching. To me, that was big money back then, but whatever. So I said, my coaching is, $800 and that's what you get, etc. And she's like, but why should I listen to you? And at the time, I got lost. And I started sweating, and I didn't know what to do. Basically, I lost that sale, and we actually ended the call on a very negative note. And back in the day, I thought, shit, I should have probably had some sort of slick line to respond to this lady. But the truth of the matter is, it was not about that. If you actually have someone ask you this question, it means you didn't ask enough questions. You didn't listen enough. Because that's where most people, don't follow through, in my opinion. It's they don't see listening as an active, or should I say, is a form of activity. They think listening is a passive thing, but listening is a very active thing. And if you listen enough, they will not have any objections to throw your way.
Correct. Yeah. And here's the other thing, and if they do, great. One of the things that I've learned in life is that when I get the result that I'm not looking for, right? There's a great saying that says you either get what you want or you learn something, right? You either win or you grow. So I have learned to look at those types of experiences as just growth. And growth is a good thing. You don't get good at something. You don't get good at walking unless you fall down a couple times. And the problem is, as an adult, we look at falling as a bad thing. Falling's not a bad thing. It's just part of the process.
It's the labels we put on things.
Right. So, oh my God, I fell. I didn't close the sale. I didn't make that sale. That person rejected me. And what? What are you going to die? Is your life over? I mean, really? What? And?
Yeah, but Devon, you have to agree. It's in the moment, it feels like that.
Yeah, it does at first. Honestly, now it doesn't. Because here's why. I look at this very logically and I look at this mathematically. I'm at the point now where I'll sit there and say, you know what? I'm going to have to talk to, I'm going to make up some numbers here. I need to talk to 10 people to get 3 of them to say yes to me. So if I get a no, I was like, boom, I'm 1 down. Awesome. Because I got to get to my next, you know what I mean? If I make one out of every 2 sales, I'm like, all right, cool. I got to get 2 no's. I got to hurry up and get my 2 no's as quickly as possible so that I can get my yes. But if while going for those no's, I give as much value as possible and I care as much as possible, then I'm planting seeds for more wins later on down the road and more yeses later on down the road.
For me, it was always like when I was getting on a cold streak, like no, I was like, at first I was sad, but then I realized, okay, well, I'm about to hit a yes streak because I've almost had this. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the idea of a financial thermostat.
Yes.
So, every single salesperson has one, which, anyone who works based on commissions or sales only, who doesn't have like a clear paycheck every month, no matter what, if my financial thermostat is set to $10,000 a month and the first 20 days of the month I made $1,000, I know I'm going to make the missing 9,000 in the next 10 days. And the other way around, if I made 10 grand in the first 15 days, I'm almost positive that the next 15 days are almost not gonna make anything. And so whenever I would hit a no streak, I knew I was looking at a yes streak in a little bit, and the other way around. And now everything we shared here on this call, I'm not sure if you realize this, Devon, but I've paid people tens of thousands of dollars for coaching and courses, and just for them to say this to me. And we've just shared this on a free podcast episode.
That's an example of the stuff from the Go Giver where we just want to give. The only thing I want, if you're listening to this right now, the only thing, and I'm going to speak for Igor a little bit as well, even though I don't have permission to. The only thing I want you to do is take this information and this knowledge and go do something with it, right? That's what I want. I want you to take this information and just go apply it. I want you to email somebody. I want you to understand the value that is being presented to you. And I want you to say, because this is valuable, and because Igor was gracious enough to put this together, you owe it to him and you owe it to yourself to go out there and give it a try and give it a shot. And you owe it to yourself to get on the phone with somebody and to say to that person who you're on the phone with, hey, I have no earthly idea what I'm doing. I just know you needed some help. So here I am. If you sign up for the program, just know that I got your back. Or something as simple and as honest as that.
First off, you said it very well. I agree with you. Just implement it. so this work doesn't go to waste. And even if just one person does, I'm going to be happy about it. And as far as like being honest, again, just coming back, I remember I actually, at one point in my life, I was a part of this community, which qualifies more like a cult. Actually, well, I actually tried to get you into it, Devon. You didn't bite though. So
I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Yes. It was a really interesting journey. I learned a lot, and you know what they kept saying, we just make this shit up as we go. Like they would actually say that every time we would meet for like a get together. Guys, we're just making this up as we go. And we'd be like, yeah, we would be cheering that up. I mean, we're just the honesty, when you're super honest, through honesty, you can generate so much rapport, so much trust that you don't need to impress people with your expertise. Although, of course, being an expert helps, but oftentimes it's enough to just be A, honest, B, be compassionate. Right. Just so the little demo the little, role playing exercise. I mean, you came across as a very compassionate person, just trying to be understanding of where your prospect is in their journey. That was enough to create an aura of trust.
Right.
So, guys, you can see how you really don't have to have tons of proof or tons of experience to just simply have a conversation. That's what we honestly just forgot how to do with the development of the internet. Like people just don't know how to freaking communicate. The simplest thing. So, get the go-giver. Definitely just get into that mindset of just being compassionate. And, you'll see wonders happen in your business. So, Devon, first off, thank you so much for sharing all this stuff. Like I said, this is tens of thousands of dollars worth of seminar, coaching, and other type of training that I've paid for, as well as years of experience. So I can't thank you enough for sharing this with our listeners.
I thank you for inviting me on and just allowing me to share and allowing me to give back a little, because this industry has given me so much and I've learned so much. So anything I can do to give back a little, I'm more than happy to do. And I hope it's been, at the absolute least, a little educational and informative.
And hopefully entertaining as well. So now allow me as the host of this show to give a little bit back to you. What are you up to these days? Where do you invest most of your time right now?
I have a program called Web Copycat that is specifically for newbies, for people that are looking to get started making money online, where I do a lot of I basically do all the heavy lifting for them and getting them started. It's really, really easy program. We're getting great results with it. But that is where all of my time as of right this moment is being spent, is just doing Web Copycat.
Okay, cool. So who's the ideal candidate for this program?
The ideal candidate for this program is somebody who has struggled to even really get started in this industry, right? The person who is having a hard time building their list, the person who's maybe bought courses in the past and then they've tried to put up their own sales pages or put up or develop their own products and stuff like that, and they just can't help it or can't seem to figure it out. Person who maybe wants to build a big list easily so that they can promote other stuff as well, other programs that they're involved in, other business opportunities that they're involved in. People who want a big list of people in the make money online space so that you can offer them different products and services and business opportunities in the make money online space. People who are not technically savvy, right? Because with Web Copycat, we go in there and we set up your autoresponder and we set up everything for you. We set up the follow-up messages and we order the traffic for you and the whole nine. We do the follow-up. We do all the selling. Somebody who's really looking for all of the hard work to be done, which is what we do, but who also wants to learn, right? So with Web Copycat, we'll do the setup, we'll do the follow-up, we'll create the products, right? We'll help you make the sales. All you literally have to do is order traffic from somebody like Igor. All you have to do is order the traffic and we'll take care of it from there. But I also want you to be engaged. I also want you to be the kind of person who is really interested in learning about this stuff and learning how to email your list and communicate with your list and that kind of stuff as well.
So basically what I'm hearing you say is it's a program for someone who struggles to get started, who's looking for that foundation to be set up for them, but who's ready to take that foundation and further, just to advance it to the next level.
Correct. I'm going to give you some stats here just real quickly on the program. These stats, and you can tell me if I'm right or if I'm exaggerating here. For every 100 people who actually jump in and do what I say, and by that I mean they pay my staff a couple of dollars to get us to set everything up one time initially, just to get the initial setup, and then they order some traffic. Right. For every 100 people who go through the steps, and it doesn't take more than an hour or so to go through the steps. For every person who has done that, within 30 days, literally 100% of them have gotten people on their email list, and 30% have made their first sale.
Wow, that's actually pretty huge for this industry.
That's ridiculous for this industry. Yes, exactly. So the program is that powerful, and we're seeing, and that's not a guarantee of result, right? I can't guarantee exactly what will happen. I'm just telling you what has happened in the past with our past clients, our current clients.
Okay, cool. Well, one question on everyone's mind is probably where the hell do we go? How do we sign up?
You can just go to webcopycat.com and check it out. WEBCOPYCAT, webcopycat.com. And check it out.
All right, that's webcopycat.com, one word, webcopycat.com, to check out Devon's program if you're looking for a way to get started, to get things set up for you, and then take that to the next level, learn and grow with your business. So, Devon, man, thank you so much. This has been tremendous. I know I've said this a lot on many previous calls I've recorded with other, marketing superstars, but this has been freaking value-rich call. And as a huge enthusiast of, sales and influence and communication in general, man, I love it. I love it. I can't thank you enough for sharing everything you shared so far.
And I can't thank you enough for inviting me. I'm really glad to take out the time to be a part of what you're doing here, and I appreciate you.
Thank you. And this is not going to be the last time you're on this show, I promise you. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Devon, thank you again for showing up and delivering an amazing amount of value. And until next time we talk, have a good one.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to The List Building Lifestyle. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes or Google Play to never miss an episode. Because who knows, just one conversion tactic we share on the show might double your list and double your business. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. And don't forget to claim your complimentary copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. This is Igor Kheifets, and until next time we talk, have a good one.
This is the podcastfactory.com.